Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very excited to say my next guest is a stand-up comedian who's been delighting audiences for 45 years. He has just written his first novel. Please welcome to The Late Show, Steven Wright. Lovely to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Long time fan.
Thank you so much.
I mean, when I was just starting out touring around the country, there was nobody more exciting to know that I was going into a club or a school or something like that, and you had just been there. I think, well, this is a great gig. Steven Wright was just here. You were my standard that I was in the right place if we were playing someplace you had been. No, it made me very excited when I found out that you guys had just played there.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. You're welcome.
You know, you're just doing what you're doing, and when someone, you know, they like what you're doing, it's just fantastic.
It is, yeah. I only have a few left, but I used to have a million Steven Wrights in my head, like a Steven Wright one-liners in my head. And of course, the one that sticks with everybody still is, it's a small world, but I wouldn't want to paint it.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
They just come into my head, you know.
Yeah.
And Steven, how do you like spelling Steven with PH?
You want to get into that? Because I know you're a V, and I wasn't going to be rude about it, but there's one correct way to spell Stephen, and it's the way Saint Stephen spelled his name, because it's from the Greek, so it's PH, not V, and I accept your apology.
No,
It's up to you.
The Saint misspelled it, and
the Saint misspelled it, but Jesus forgave him because he was a saint.
But you have an extra letter in yours, so that's bad for the environment.
Waste ink? Is that waste ink?
Yeah. And
okay.
Life is so short, and you have this extra time where you're spelling your name. Think about the cumulative, anyway.
This is late night TV. For those of you out there who didn't know, in case you're watching this on YouTube or something, we actually recorded this very late at night. And you have a tremendous history with late night TV. Here you are, 1982. You're on Johnny Carson for the very first time. You can get a shot of that, Jim. This was before they invented focusing cameras. Can you share the story with us of, like, because this back in the day, people don't understand. Carson was so big, this would change a comic's life in a single night.
Yeah, well, I got very fortunate. I started out in Boston, and there was a club in Cambridge. It was a half Chinese restaurant, half comedy club called the Ding Ho Comedy Club. This is true, and someone wrote an article about it in the Freelance Guy, and it was in the LA Times. I don't know why it went in the LA Times. And then Peter Lasalle from The Tonight Show out in LA, he read it, and then 8 months later he was in Boston, and he remembered the club, and he said he's gonna go in and watch some comedians. So he went in, and I was one of the comedians, and then like 3 weeks later I was on there. So it's a series of accidents. Why was it a half Chinese restaurant comedy?
That got someone's attention.
Yes. Why did the guy write an article about why did it go in the LA Times? Why? You know, Peter sees it. His kids are going to go to college, so he goes to Massachusetts to look at colleges in the summer. And then I've been very fortunate. A lot of lucky things happen.
You said why a lot of times there. Have you ever thought about why? Do you think there's a pattern in your life?
Why I say why, you mean?
Yeah.
No, I thought that.
You can go there if you want. Do you know why? Have you thought about why all that happened? Do you think the Lord has a plan for Steven Wright?
No, he does. I know.
Not that you know of.
Not that I know of.
Not that I know of.
Now you're making
Would you
me
want to know
paranoid.
if the Lord had a plan for you?
Oh my God, no.
What's your process for writing jokes? Are they always sort of coming into you, or do you actually sit down and okay, I'm going to write for a couple hours?
No, what I do is I drink coffee. Are you a coffee drinker?
I'm a coffee achiever.
I think coffee is one of the best things about being alive.
Sure. To the Turks.
Yes, to the Turks. It's dry. My mind goes crazy on coffee. So what I do is I exercise in the morning, and then I go somewhere and I drink coffee, and then I'm like a receptionist for my mind. I just write down things that come into my head, jokes or whatever they are. Like, I'll just write jokes down. Like, one came into my head. May I tell you a joke from the other day?
I would be very grateful.
My friend Jimmy bought an electric car. He's very excited about it. Then he bought an electric blanket. Then he bought an electric guitar. Then he bought an electric chair, and I haven't heard from him.
It's a sad story. It's kind of a sad story when you think about it.
That was from coffee.
That was coffee did that?
Yes.
Coffee did
I
that.
was just sitting there.
Wow. Well, did coffee have anything to do with writing this book?
Yes.
So the book is called Herold, and you've been doing stand-up for 45 years, but this is your first book. Why a book now? Did you just recently learn to read?
It was just drinking the coffee one day. Then I wrote down, for no reason, Herold was in 3rd grade. And then a few days later, more. Not intending to write a book. I just was like drinking the coffee, and then it kept going and going and going and going. And I thought, well, maybe this could actually be a book. And then I thought, I know what I can do. I can put a funnel on Herold's head. I can put into his head things I think about life that could never be said during a stand-up thing, because, it's the joke. So I put, like, things I think about relationships and religion and God and birds and...
Relationship, religion, God, and birds.
In those...
That's a nice combo, actually.
In that order. And, he had a relationship with his grandfather, and his grandfather would tell him philosophical things like the present is a past factory. He'd tell him Jesus loved...
The present is a past factory.
Present is a past factory.
I love it.
Jesus loves you because he doesn't know you. And he points out that your teeth are the only part of your skeleton that you can see while you're still alive. So your teeth are like a preview of your skeleton. Like, for instance, you probably will have a great set of teeth. You'll have a great skeleton. You probably get that all the time.
Yeah. A lot of people say, I'd love to see you dead. I assume you did the audiobook, too.
Yes, the book on tape. Yeah, I had me read it, and I read it. It was the only time I ever read the book, actually.
Was that a good press? It's harder than people think. There's a lot more work into that than people
Yeah, it took a long time, and sometimes I like to read music and listen to books on tape.
So is there going to be another book, or is this it?
I don't know if there'll be another one. Probably. I don't know.
You don't seem that happy about it.
No, I would just see what happens. I have no plan, really. I know what I'm going to call it, though. It's
What?
Gonna be called Peabody in the Advertising Business.
I'd read that. Steven Wright, thank you for being
Thanks
here.
for having me.
Lovely to see you. Herold is on sale now. Steven Wright, everybody. We'll be right back.